I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, this is the 4th of July. Welcome to Government Planned Anarchy. Portland is on fire right now. The people in Portland are really having a problem. We got lots of problems going on that just don't add up. Yep. Why would our government not have brought the police or the National Guard in to areas like Seattle? Let it foment into a chop zone, and they finally got that cleared. Now we got Portland turning into a war zone. Yeah, lots of things are happening right now in America. War zone in the works in Portland. Let's see if I can pull this up. Here it is. The fires are raging out of control in certain sectors. Federal police have been mobilized, all because Antifa was called in, and they brought Antifa in. I'll tell you who's behind that in a second. Let's play the clip. Yeah, the CHOP rejects probably relocated to Portland. Good point, chat room celebrity. Yeah, so obviously they just went 150, 200 miles south, and they're there. I can't get that link on YouTube because I'm on a VPN there, Pitoro. Sorry. I will put it in my link library, though. Yeah, I keep track of things like that, so later in the show I can download it. Thank you. Whew, yeah. All right, so Antifa-crats are essentially getting funding from George Soros. Yeah, that's the problem. We got George Soros behind this planned anarchy, and Donald Trump won't call him out. As you know, he got money from George Soros to build the Trump Towers, $160 million, which he still owes. So the man who's committing treason and trying to destroy our country with planned riots, which he's been doing for years now, the Baltimore riots, the Ferguson riots, all directed by him. He gives money to Antifa-crats who simply want to start fires and trigger violence. So people that are genuinely protesting something are then turned into a violent mob. The innocent people are caught in the middle of it. This is a tactic that should have been addressed by our government 10 years ago under Obama. Well, let's be clear. We think that the Antifa groups are doing a good thing. Or Occupy, remember that? They didn't do anything. This guy's behind Occupy, Black Lives Matter, Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, Antifa. It goes on. He's just looking to constantly create problems in America, and Trump won't call him out. Now, we just listened to a stump speech from Trump that we might as well have listened to Trump stump. Yeah. He made no reference to COVID and how now somebody in his cabinet is COVID positive. He made no reference to COVID at all. Yeah. Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend is COVID positive, and she was at the rally in South Dakota. Nobody cared at all about the biggest problem facing our country, which obviously is COVID-19 in the eyes of so many Democrats. But we have other problems like the installation of 5G without testing. Trump and the Democrats won't talk about that. But all he talked about was these mindless, glossy, patriotic views, which these Republicans, they just eat it up like, yeah, that's my president talking about what matters to me.
Reason. And yet, as we meet here tonight, there is a growing danger that threatens every blessing our ancestors fought so hard for, struggled, they bled to secure. Our nation is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history.
Now, I have to remind all of you that I was the one that said we need an executive order to stop the defacing of statues. 2 years ago, when the Charlottesville incident occurred, I was the one that said that. It took Donald Trump 2 years to put together an executive order penalizing people who deface statues. And he's acting like he's really on this. 2 years ago, he could have done this. Now, being he's not really a good president, we have to assume that he cheated during the election to win with Russia's help, because there's 448 pages of proof to back that up, and an impeachment to show that Trump was, in fact, doing a quid pro quo with Ukraine over dirt on Biden. We all know this is under the bridge here. This is water under the bridge, right? So don't tell me that Donald Trump didn't cheat to win, and don't glorify him like some great leader when he literally is taking money to be our president. Now, why did he shut our economy down? I shut it down. They told me to shut it down, so I shut it down. I shut down the greatest economy in the world. Why? Because people like George Soros told him to. People defacing statues is not the worst problem facing our country. The economy being shut down for the past 100 days is the worst thing that's happened to our country. And Trump did it. And he hasn't started it back up again. Even though COVID-19 is proving to be more of a statistical manipulation. They're claiming that the numbers are spiking in Florida. Oh, Florida, new cases. Yeah, Florida has more nursing homes than most states. The only other state that has perhaps the same number of nursing homes would be New York. Well, what happened with Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx decided to put COVID positive people in nursing homes? Florida gets hit the hardest. Now, that's murder, by the way, for Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and Donald Trump to order COVID positive people to be around the most vulnerable people in the country, in the world, are people in nursing homes. So he orders them to go there, and now the Florida numbers are peaking, record. Oh, yeah. And then it turns out that when Fauci was somebody asked him about herd immunity, he said, oh, well, we need to get more people infected in order to get herd immunity. There is no herd immunity with a virus. You need to learn to live with the virus. And I've been saying that all along. Now, Trump is starting to say that without committing to no forced vaccinations, without committing to no forced COVID testing. Trump is now saying we're going to have to live with this. My wording. He's using my wording yet again. But he won't use my wording to tell you, I will not force vaccinate any of you. I promise you that. I will not force COVID test you with a Q-tip, especially contaminated ones. I promise you that. We'll have a full review of what's happened with the COVID nightmare under Trump and his bad leadership and the imbeciles and the murderers like Fauci and Birx. We'll get accountability from these people as a starting point. But you've got to get me to the presidency. Otherwise, we've got absolute idiots running this country. Trump being one of them. Biden is a bad example of a candidate competing against Trump. I can tell you that the only people that can really compete against Trump would be people that can actually talk off of a teleprompter. Trump can talk off the teleprompter, albeit the same things over and over again. We're a great, great nation. We're very incredible. We're the most incredible nation. Did I say we're a great, great nation? That's Trump talking off the teleprompter. Have you ever seen Tucker Carlson talk off a teleprompter? He can't do it. He bogs down. He has no fluidity. He has no impromptu ability. Tucker Carlson literally is speaking off a teleprompter every night in front of the American people. And he gets a free ride. Nobody ever questions him. Nobody ever actually gets in his face and said, dude, wake up. When he goes off the teleprompter, he fumbles. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Trump is the same way. I don't have an Arnold impression right now, Eric. Yeah. He's so upset that people are not wearing masks at the gym that he won't even go to Gold's Gym. He probably went there the other day and was like, yeah, I don't understand why you're not wearing masks. You should be safe. Everyone should be safe. Well, apparently now everybody in California have to wear masks. I would be 100% better because I'm interactive and I'm reactive and I'm open to new suggestions and I'm open to your ideas. One thing about me is I have emotion and I'm willing to use that emotion to drive our country forward, to unite our country. Trump is like, everything's like a boring speech with a guy on Adderall. We have a great nation, everything's great, we have a wonderful history, everything's been wonderful, and I'm doing a wonderful job. I mean, this guy literally is living on Adderall. You can see it. A doctor said that Donald Trump's eyes are so dilated that it appears he's on one of 4 different designer drugs. Seriously. Our president, the drug addict. Plus, let's not forget the fact that he hasn't really stepped up and done what he needed to do to get this guy in check. He won't even mention George Soros, and Soros is behind this entire nightmare along with Bill Gates. So we either pick our enemies and deal with it, or we're going to get towed under by these people who've been putting this plan together to eliminate all of us and our freedoms. Are you with me? I'm with you. Help me. Thank you. Help me help you. That's how I see it. Trump has burnout. When you live on snorting Adderall all the time, it's bound to affect your nose. Yeah, there's something wrong with his nose. A lot of people have been looking at this. There are some lines that just don't make sense. Yeah, take a look at this picture right here. Now, granted, it's a tough job. You know, it's easy to get bags under your eyes and all that. That's to be expected. I mean, remember General Mattis? He had permanent bags under his eyes. But the nose is something going on here. Yeah, some people are saying that possibly Donald Trump is wearing a nose prosthesis. It's entirely possible. I've met people, mostly people living on apartments down in Hermosa Beach, who did coke all their life, that lost their nose. I turned around, I didn't meet him actually, I just saw him. He's like, whoa. The guy had his prosthesis off when I looked at him. There's just 2 holes in his head. But see this area right here, that highlighted by the blue lines? Yeah, those are a little bigger. Yeah, I know it's not, I always want to get a thicker one there. Clear the whiteboard. Yeah, look at these right here. These are some sort of it almost looks like he's got tabs on to hold it to his face, you know? Because if he has a prosthetic nose, and look at this area in here, you see how the nostril area is very small? Let's enlarge it. I'm going to show you my nostrils and compare them to his nostrils. I know that's what you wanted to do today on Sustainable Saturday. I should have put hashtag nostrils in the show. But I'm Germanic in heritage, and I can tell you that. Let me get my nostrils here and tip my head up in the same way. And you'll compare my nostrils to his nostrils. Let's go here. Okay. Now you'll notice the apertures of my nostrils are much bigger than his. You see that? So my airwaves are much open. There's something closing his airwaves. You see that? Yeah. That's a strange indication right there that it could be a prosthesis. I'm not accusing Donald Trump of doing drugs. No, Adderall is a medication they give people with autism. So it's not a bad thing. I mean, if Donald Trump has to snort Adderall just to wake up in the morning, then he probably has some deviated septum issues in here. Yeah, that's probably the explanation. I doubt it's a paste-on nose. So to debunk myself here, I'm going to say, no, that's just a guy who's been snorting a lot of Adderall all his life, you know? Yeah, let's cut the president a little slack. I mean, we had a crack user for president with Barack Obama, and by all intents and purposes, Obama looks like a crack user today. He's not doing too well either. I mean, my gosh. We showed you his picture the other day. It's like, dude, you don't even need to be on camera looking like this. Well, let's be clear. Michelle, could you fill up that, clean off that mirror? We've had a lot of people over today. This guy is 2 years younger than me. And as you can see, he's got, some issues with his pallid skin color. And, if he just smoked a little doobie, he'd be so much better off, Well, Dave, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't say bad things about me. Michelle or Michael, my transgender lover, prefers not to talk about my cocaine or crack cocaine habit. Oh, bummer. David, we must ban Soros if he comes in your channel. George Soros doesn't have the balls to come in my channel. People like that work in the shadows. I get death threats all the time. You probably know that. You see them in the rooms. Hey, the vaccines have been contaminated, and Reagan made them immune. Oh, yeah. A new chat coming in. No, I use a thing called fruit enzyme spray, which I've been buying different brands. I went from Michel Dermaceuticals to their fruit enzyme spray, which is great, by the way. It's just very costly, to a hemp-flavored spray that I just use a little flavoring in there, a little hemp. It's all natural, and I use that, and I put the rest is purified water from my source. I went about 10,000 miles to get my source of water, so that's a special thing. But look what Trader Joe's is offering now: watermelon fruit enzyme spray, facial mist, it's called. So if you want to give yourself facial mist, you can go to Trader Joe's for only $3.99. I can't wait to break this open, but I'm going to wait until I'm, desperate for fruit enzyme spray. But it's a great way to rehydrate your face, so you don't look like George Soros, the prune pickle face person who barely can, whatever his trip is. I don't know. What do you got there, Mr. PhD? We got live footage of the only authorized 4th of July celebration that's allowed in this particular area, DC. The buck moon is up, by the way. We're going to be looking at a buck moon tonight. Beautiful yellow, the yellow moon look. Wow, this is live, everybody. Happy 4th. Yes. Look at that wasteful sulfur and pollution. Look, to me, this is ridiculous. I would do a laser light show. I wouldn't do this over the White House. This is a message saying, oh, it's okay, we can pollute, we can dump chemicals in the air, we don't give a shit about the planet. That's what this says. No, I don't need Visine for my eyes. I can see the whites of my eyes. I don't need Visine at all. In fact, it's highly recommended not to use Visine a lot because it has boric acid in it. Yeah, you don't want to wear out your eyes. Yeah, so free legal chemtrails right in front of your eyes. That's how little they care. We're free. Hey, let me make this a happy moment. Oh, my skin's too orange. Let me lighten it up here. Hang on. Correcting skin coloration. Modifications to the orange output. Hold, please. How's that better? Thank you. Wow, this is amazing. That's a pretty good one, yeah. Seen one, you've seen them all. We can't do our fireworks in our area. So why is Trump getting away with this in his area? I think they're blowing off all the hydroxychloroquine that Trump will not be allowed to sell in the United States now. Yeah. You know what a pussy Trump is? He allowed the FDA to make hydroxychloroquine illegal in the U.S. Can you imagine? I mean, come on, really. You know that Trump has invested heavily in a French concern that makes hydroxychloroquine, right? Well, why he should step up and stand up for what he believes in. If he's invested heavily in hydroxychloroquine, he should do something about it. I think so. Yeah, the French connection, it's huge. You know it. Take a look. The French connection, Trump family are invested in a hydroxychloroquine maker. Donald Trump and his allies, the conservative media sphere, have repeatedly pushed the health benefits of an anti-malarial drug, hydroxychloroquine, for patients who have contracted the novel coronavirus 19. While scientific opinion on the efficacy of the drug for treatment is necessarily shy of consensus, Trump himself has a personal financial interest in a French drug maker that produces a brand name version of the medication. He even takes it as a preventative medication. So Donald Trump is actually committing a felony by taking a banned product for preventing any type of COVID-19. That's what a pussy he is. Can you imagine allowing the FDA? I would have fired the director of the FDA. I would have said, no, you're done. You're banning a product that's proven to be very effective against flus. You know why hydroxychloroquine may not work in most instances? Because it's not coupled with zinc. It must be coupled with zinc in order to work effectively. So Trump is showing what a worm he is by not stepping up and standing up against those hydroxychloroquine banners. It's perfectly safe as long as you're under doctor care. Now, that makes me sick when I see a president who doesn't even know what's good for his own business. Now, many of you have waited the whole evening to find out how to pick your nose through your face mask. Okay, let's take a look here. Using the Dr. Fauci method, I'm going to stick my nose. I'm kidding. But seriously, like this guy even has a clear view of what's going on. He didn't even want masks, but now he says we have to have them. You see how idiotic the man is? And believe me, masks have not been proven to stop a virus ever. The empty space in between the fabric and this thing is much bigger than the little teeny viruses that want to scoot through there. The important thing I want all of you to know is to wear gloves, okay? Just when you thought your life was normal with a mask on, get some rubber gloves, seriously, and wear them again and again if you can. You can even rinse those out. They're pretty good to rinse out. And let them dry in the sun. But rubber gloves are going to save our nation because we know that the spread of COVID is primarily due to COVID-positive people being put in nursing homes around vulnerable people, which is murder. And Dr. Birx is behind that. Dr. Fauci's behind that. Donald Trump is behind that. But the real problem is spread of disease through hand contact. They're called pores. Okay, the pores of the mask will let the virus get through. I know. So why wouldn't our first line of defense be rubber gloves? Rubber gloves prevent your hands from touching your eyes. Rubber gloves prevent you from sticking your finger up your nose. Face masks, ironically, make you touch your face a lot. You're always adjusting your mask because you're getting your hands near your face and near your many orifices. So let's be clear here. Humans are basically led by a bunch of sheep called politicians. And the only difference is these sheep are greedy sheep, and some of them are wolves in sheep's clothing. We've got that to worry about. We do. Now, Kimberly Guilfoyle has tested positive, Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend. While in South Dakota, she gets coronavirus.
Kicked off the holiday weekend by celebrating the nation's independence with a grand act of defiance, going against the advice of doctors, including the White House Coronavirus Task Force. The president and first lady did not wear masks when they greeted some 7,000 spectators who gathered for speeches and fireworks last night at the base of Mount Rushmore. Earlier, a group of Native American protesters were arrested after they blocked a road leading to the monument. While Mr. Trump thanked first responders for their efforts to battle the virus, his 40-minute speech largely took aim at the efforts to remove controversial monuments and statues. Nicole Killian is at the White House this morning. What more can you tell us?
Well, I don't really want to hear from Nicole, so she can't tell us anything. But the girlfriend of President Donald Trump Jr.'s has tested positive for coronavirus. Now, we really don't know if she tested positive because, like one chatter just said, TACCON. Dave, if the tests are frauds, how do you know she has corona? She doesn't know, but she thinks she knows. Yeah, that video is still unavailable. I can't play it due to the fact that I'm running my show through a VPN. I'm so sorry. Hey, Moron, how are you? Welcome, Moron. Moron 1053 is here. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the show. If you'd like to go on camera, you can over at iVlog, Moron. Feel free. Yeah? We got cameras. We've got live cams. You could just go in and engage. Yeah, I'm amazed people don't troll me there. It's such a great trolling opportunity. An armed not effing around militia in Stone Mountain, Georgia has called out rednecks to face them on the field of battle. So these Antifocrats or BLM people have decided to gather together and put together an armed rally in Georgia to piss off a bunch of white people. Now, believe me, you'll see a lot of white people in this group because most people in the Black Lives Matter group are Jews. Well, technically they're not white, they're Jews. So let's take a look.
The 3% is another threat, counter threat, because threats don't mean shit to us. Y'all been threatening us since Birmingham. I ain't seen shit. When is July the 4th? And all you scary ass Negroes that pass that shit around, look at what the fuck you did. You made blacks come out. I don't see no white militia. So to the boogie boys, the 3%ers and all the rest of you scared ass rednecks.
These are actors, folks, that George Soros hired. They're Black Lives Matter people. They're getting a cash bonus for this. Well, NFASC isn't BLM, but they're getting the same funding. Yeah, it's the same source. Let's take a look. You tell me how many white people you see in this group, okay? You can see just as much as I can. Those guys are white. 2 white guys right there. There's another white guy in the back. That's a white woman right there. That's a white woman right there. That's a black guy. That's a black woman. That's a white guy. White guy. White guy. You can see there's a white guy there. Come on, folks. We're being played. Yeah, it turns out that the Zionists want our country to have a revolution. People like George Soros want a revolution. That's why they're allowing government-planned anarchy. This is no different than what they did during Antifa rallies at the old days of Baltimore and Ferguson. Same thing. But the problem is our government has not done anything to stop this incendiary activity that happens every time people gather in protest. It's probably Latinos faking to be black. There's also a lot of Muslims, you know, there are groups of Muslims that are integrating right into BLM. That's right. The Muslim Brotherhood supports this effort. You know that. The effort of BLM, not my effort. My God, I would never get support from anyone like that. No, Black Lives Matter gets support from the Muslim Brotherhood. So yeah, we've got that clip. Thank you for an armed coalition, the Not Effing Around Coalition. It's an offshoot, a splinter of George Soros's Black Lives Matter and Antifa-crats. It's the same group, no different. You can see it. They're all heavily armed, and you know that's the thing. Basically, Donald Trump's friend George Soros is allowing this. He's enabling this, and Trump is allowing it. There's another video. Isn't that the same video I just got? It sure looks like that. Oh, you got another video. Okay, let's play it. Play it again, Sam.
We don't talk. We don't sing. We ain't trying to overcome.
There's a lot of white people in there, and you can see from their arms that they're white. So they have, of course, a black leader to, you know, an actor, a paid actor, to pretend like he's really supporting them. This effort to create violence is a design. I'll get her stuff. You can come on in. I got it. It's a design to create hostility in America. This is all being paid for by Soros and other people, foreign money, trying to destroy our country. And Trump hasn't even outed that either. Okay, I'll keep these videos on red alert so that we'll stack them so that you can watch them later. It'll be fun to look at all these things. Now, federal police are mobilizing to protect the Portland Federal Courthouse because Antifa decided to get violent in a city that was handling it pretty well. I got to tell you, Portland was doing pretty well with the herd of rioters that were rolling around in a circle in Portland. Now, with Antifa moving in and setting fires, that doesn't work that way. I'm not going to show you the video of two protesters that drifted onto I-5 last night, but King 5 News covered it. I showed it earlier in the pre-show. A car drove through what appears to be an I-5. It wasn't like intentional, but then again, you might think it was because they went onto an on-ramp. So this could have been intentional. Either way, two protesters were hit, slammed, but they're alive. They were hit pretty hard by about 45 miles an hour by a car, but they're alive. You don't want to wander into an I-5 corridor, folks. If you're a protester, it's not safe, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you got more from the Portland precinct fire. Portland police retreat into precinct building as riot is declared. Okay, so this is now a riot situation, and Antifa did this. George Soros supported Antifa-crats did this. Here it is.
Now, how the f*** are you walking free when you killed my nigga 2 days ago? How? You better go back. How? You better go back. How the f*** are you walking?
See, these Portland people, the ones that are loud are the Antifa-crats. They're not protesters, folks. They're trying to drive the police back into their precincts. It's just, this whole thing is being caused by this man and others. And Trump won't even call them out. That's how weak of a president Trump is. All right, Sarah's going to take over the show for a while. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to make some din-din. Thank you.
Thanks for making dinner.
You're welcome. Here we go. Let's do it.
Here we go again. You're Mr. Right. Mr. Right.
Now, they just said something in our chat room. Thank you, Sarah, the teacher I should have had. That's such a nice compliment. And I've said that to her myself. I had a really, really bad second grade teacher. I mean, one of the worst in the world. And I'm not going to go into details. I'm writing about it in my book. Yeah, you can have a really bad experience in school. And my teacher was the worst. I'm not going to give you any specifics right now, but it was bad. And ironically, we can't possibly have, everyone can't have a perfect teacher like Sarah is, but she really adds a lot of goodness to the curve. And I wish more teachers could do this online thing too, because I know that she fit right in. And I really don't see a big deal. If we have to do a lot more online education, let's do it. I don't think it's a big deal as long as our teachers are fully involved. If they get replaced by robots, no way could they do the kind of work that she does. And I mean that. She is incredibly personal, very one-on-one, and very, very nice. Your teacher punched you in the nose. Wow, there you have it. I experienced physical abuse from my second grade teacher. I will tell you that. So much so that I can also tell you that I reported her to the principal. No, Metanemesis. David Carradine was doing research on pedophilia in Thailand when he was killed. And there's very little on the internet. It's been scrubbed. Keith Carradine, his brother, found out spent like $30,000 on an investigator that his brother David Carradine had died due to. Okay. David Carradine had died due to researching pedophiles in Thailand. Yeah. Seriously. That's the only stitch of information we have. Our government did no investigation at all. Okay. Kanye West is announcing his run for the presidency in 2020. Well, that's certainly his right as long as he's 35 years old. Everyone knows that this delusional man suffering from bipolar disorder has made grandiose claims, and this is one of them. Having no experience communicating with the American people on a daily basis like we do, he's literally going to use his fame and fortune and sucking up to the richest Illuminati's puppet families on earth to do this. It's like, oh wow, yeah, we need another one in the run. Yeah, sure, Kanye, bring it on. We got Justin Amash trying to start a third party too. Go for it. Feel free. Robert and Keith were David Carradine's half-paternal brothers. Yeah, his father, John Carradine, was a famous actor, brilliant. And the whole family are really good. Yeah. I believe Robert Carradine was famous for Nerds. He was great in that, yeah. Yeah, for a man who completely is tangential and off the cuff, I have a very strong plan for getting our country back on track. Really, I'm going to bring you into my party room now. Here we go.
Was off the mountain, though we climbed it so many times before. You keep me wanna go there over and over, but I know how it goes.
All right, thank you. We are here again, everyone. Thank you for coming into my New America room where, you know, it'd be great if we could just look at a whole new country here, a new America. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this background here. And bring you what I think would be great for America. Yeah. So Sustainable Saturday really involves focusing on the issues. I brought these up yesterday. We absolutely have to move in a direction that solves these critical issues facing our country. And many of you may not think it's important, but air filtration is key to minimizing the type of climate change that we're experiencing. Air filtration is the opposite of what the elitists are doing right now, where they're spraying chemicals in the air, chemtrails. And I believe that air filtration is possible at all of our major areas around the world, specifically in America, in the Tehachapi mountain range. We've got a huge amount of wind, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds almost yearly on average. So we can put Venturi scrubbers and vortex filters, which have yet to be designed, put to the task of creating filter blocks filled with chemicals that are currently in our air that we're breathing. It's about time we started reversing this trend of pollution without the cap and trade mentality of the UN and the New World Order. This plan involves us doing this as a country, leading by example.
Fields and jungle.
Not lying and promising things and telling people that cap and trade is the only way to solve things. That's a mistake. You notice that Greta Thunberg never mentioned air filtration or water filtration. So these things are really transcendent, and they're more important than the mundane idea of taxing you for your carbon. Now, the reason why weather has been changing over the years is because we are experiencing what is called weather modification. Yeah, the weather modification is going on right now as we speak. They're dumping chemicals in the air on a daily basis, as evinced by the image behind me. These are actual photographs that are time-lapse of chemicals being dumped in our skies. Isn't she hot? Yeah, she's and she turned out to be a fantastic entertainer. Yeah, that French woman. Yeah, I know. All right, so you're looking at chemicals right here clearly being dumped. We're getting targeted and DDoSed right now as I show you these in the sky. We're getting DDoSed. Our show is being shut down on 2 levels right now. I've got some metrics I can take a look at now and see how many people are attacking our live stream show. And it's amazing how many people are trying to stop us. Wiggs Anthony said he couldn't even get into the iBlog room because he's got so many DDoS attacks on our chat server. Yeah, Greta Thunberg should be happy now global airlines are cutting jobs. Who cares about Greta Thunberg? She's a mouthpiece for the New World Order. Who cares about Bill Gates? He's a mouthpiece for the New World Order. Who cares about George Soros? He's a mouthpiece for the New World Order. I mean, we literally have this baggage we've got to get out of the way before we can actually fix the problem here on Earth. All the while, they're trying to get rid of us. They're trying to eliminate the human race slowly. And you know it, I know it. They're trying to kill us with food, water, bad food, bad water. They're putting genetically modified food in our diet without our consent. Didn't even get our consent on that. They're amassing a massive $26 trillion debt, which we can't get out from under. Yep, we've got all kinds of problems currently pending right now that our president and the Democrats have not done a thing to solve. In fact, they're adding to the debt with another stimulus plan. It's crazy. Trump wants to put $1 trillion into the 5G network, a network that hasn't even been tested on laboratory animals for safety. Is that insane or what? Melania, I don't think, has been with the president since 2007, by all accounts. They have separate facility where they sleep in separate rooms. Yeah. Yeah, who cares? It doesn't really matter. I'm sure Eleanor and FDR didn't, our first lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, didn't have a good relationship with her husband. He was cheating on her. FDR had a mistress that we found out that later. Eleanor didn't have a relationship with her husband. So I don't blame Melania for not sleeping with him. There was some news on Tiffany Trump. Yes, we have some stuff right here, Wiggs. Yeah. And thanks for the casual, our Saturday show wasn't even happening a few years ago. Then we brought the Saturday show. And then we didn't have a Sunday show for the longest time. People said, hey, man, could you do a Sunday show? Because we're bored. And I really can't afford not to do it as we move toward the election. Seriously. I got to keep talking about politics and keep you guys going on the subject and realize what the talking points are. But Tiffany was seen in a yacht situation. Yeah, check this out. I'll give you the link. You can check out her curves. Very, very picturesque image of her and her yacht super rich boyfriend in Monaco. The Daily Mail has the subject. Here she is. See, that's instantaneous information sharing right there, Wiggs. All aboard, Tiffany Trump shows off her curves in a swimsuit as she lounges on a $60 million super yacht and goes jet skiing in Monaco with her billionaire boyfriend Michael Boulot and socialite best friend Peter Brandt Jr. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Here she is posing her one piece. The lovely Tiffany Trump. Enjoying the good life, and these are the good years. I hope she has a wonderful time. So, yeah, you may want to check that out a little closer. Feel free to, peruse the website. I'll give it to all of you. I know many of you want to take a look at Tiffany in Monaco. Metanemesis could not remember your damn login. Thanks, man, for coming in there. We've been attacked at DDoS. We have a guy named John over here, wonderful guy, John Helton, or excuse me, Ron Helton, Ron Helton, who comes into our show. He said he couldn't even get on that network. It's like somebody's taking over his computer with a screen grab. I think they're using Bitcoin miners over there. Yeah. So in lieu of all this, we have to come up with a more sustainable plan. This is a real problem. This is a bad mark on America. This is the red mark that we really should never have acquired, this debt. And now the Pelosi and Trump are just elated to have more debt. They love debt. So there's something very wrong with these people. This $26 trillion debt is going to cost us long-term trillions of dollars. $5 trillion in interest alone. How can we afford $5 trillion in interest alone? And we'll never get that paid off. It's just going to keep adding and adding the more they overspend. So the Democrats, Republicans have truly reached the end of their rope. They've destroyed our country. They've put our country at risk with these paid rioters that are coming in now. And Pelosi's acting like this is a good thing, that we should all have, cities fall apart so that we'll all vote for Trump, or vote against Trump, rather. If your cities fall apart, you're bound to vote for a Democrat, right? No, actually, many people are beginning to rethink their vote for Biden. Many people are saying, I don't like this guy. He's too loose. He touches women, smells their hair, touches children inappropriately. Biden does. And they're actually thinking that, well, why are we changing this? Because the Biden wants to force COVID test everybody. Why are we allowing the Democrats to frame this whole subject of COVID-19 being out of control and all that? I think a lot of centrists right now are either thinking about a new guy like me, or just going ahead and voting for Trump, even though they hate him. I know that sounds really hard to believe, but Biden is actually driving votes back to Trump. Truly. As Trump is unpredictable as he is, he's a predictable unpredictable. We know what's coming out of his mouth. We don't know whether he's going to force vaccinate us or not, because he hasn't said he's not going to force vaccinate us like I have. Biden hasn't said it either. But Trump kind of gives people that sense that he's trying to fight for our country, and that alone could defeat the Democrats this election. No one wants the country to slide into a bunch of communists, Antifa-crats, supporting George Soros. But Trump is doing that too. And therein lies the problem. We've got to get a third party out there if we're going to beat this terrible New World Order attack on our country.
Of Vietnam, they delivered a swift and sweeping, that sweeping. It was swift and it was soils and jungles of Vietnam. They delivered a swift and sweeping, that sweeping. It was swift and it was sweeping like nobody's ever seen anything happen. A victory in Operation Desert Storm.
Swift and sweeping moment, which he had a hard time with there. Donald, we'll finish this a little bit later. Could you possibly get yourself checked out for dementia? You and Biden. That'd be great. It would save us a lot of time, because can we really afford 4 years of a demented president who doesn't even address the issues of chemicals being dumped in our skies, air filtration, the need for air filtration, the need for filtering water, the need for a homesteading plan like we have? Can we really afford to spend 4 more years with Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Think about it. Our country has now been shut down. Trump decided, I shut it down. I shut the economy down. They told me to shut it down, so I shut it down. Who would possibly shut down an economy as great as ours? Who would do that? Trump did. Hey, we got some information here that came in yesterday on a meme. Yeah, these are the two sisters of Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, named Christina and Isabel. Together they created a software that works on the intelligence databases of the FBI, CIA, and DEA. So we literally have two of the daughters of the Mossad spy, Robert Maxwell, working as spies for U.S. intelligence and providing software to the FBI to help with espionage. While the younger sister is a massive sex trafficker and is recently captured by the FBI. Now, what do you think of her capture? I mean, seriously, are they just going to, give her COVID-19 and pretend like she disappeared? Like Jeffrey Epstein when they faked his death? I wouldn't doubt Jeffrey Epstein probably called her and said, Ghislaine, I'll take care of you. This is going to be good. They'll just go do as the FBI says, and then you can meet me in Puerto Vallarta. I've got a place up here. You can meet some of the young girls that we got down here in Puerto Vallarta. You'll love it, Ghislaine. We'll get you out just like I got out. Because I really do believe that Jeffrey Epstein is alive. Now, what is going to happen here is lax, loose prison activity. Donald Trump will be, I don't understand why they didn't keep a closer watch on Ghislaine. She is so powerful, and Jeffrey Epstein is so powerful that they use their dirt to get things done in our country, and they can control the FBI, they can control the CIA, and now we know that her sisters are on the pulse of our top intelligence agencies. Hello! We've got a Jewish attorney prosecuting a Mossad agent. Oh yeah, America's really in a good place right now. Yeah, we really have lost our way, folks. Lost our way. It's a catch and release. I wouldn't doubt they'll have her out without testimony. You're right. By law, they cannot enforce vaccines on us right now. That's absolutely correct. I'm going to go to my Twitter account because I did a couple Twitters today that were patriotic. I thought maybe you could take a look at it. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I know I am. I made a stir-fried ginger rice, organic rice chicken dinner tonight. It was quick, easy with cabbage and vegetables. It was good. Okay, I'm going to check out my Twitter. As you know, I'm shadow banned heavily there. Nobody can get through. I was told by somebody, David, you wouldn't believe all the people messaging you on @third-party. I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to get to any of your messages because I am completely shadow banned on Twitter. I've had the same number of followers for 10 years, which is a classic case of shadow banning. Even though we publish our information @third-party every night, people don't join us, or if they do, it doesn't show up as my follower. Okay, so I said I'm so proud to live in a country where my Bill of Rights protects me from Bill Gates, hashtag, vaccinations, hashtag, and mandatory COVID-19 testing, hashtag COVID-19, and where I am not required to wear a mask by law. USA, freedom, happy 4th of July, I wrote. Yeah. And then look at this. Somebody wrote F the 4th, hashtag, literally the word. And I said, how is this not a violation of Twitter's hate speech law or rule? How is this not? I mean, how can you say F the 4th when literally it's an act of violence and hateful to do that? Trump really lost it. He didn't do the right thing when he didn't reinstate the fairness doctrine. He could have done that. He just totally blew it. And here I talked about, this is a good indication of media manipulation. Trump, who uses other people's music at his events, now gets to trend with hashtag Trump 2020 landslide, question mark. How is Trump, hashtag censored, question mark. Neil Young is not okay with Trump playing the music of at Mount Rushmore. He's just, this guy's taking liberties, and Neil Young said, I don't like that. Trump is getting all the benefits of the mainstream media. Don't kid yourself. He is a good friend with Jeff Zucker, the CEO of CNN. There's no real hostility there. He gets nothing but support from CNN. Trump does. This is crazy. I mean, you got a president claiming that everything's fake news, claiming everything's a conspiracy theory. So now everyone's walking around with two thoughts in their head. It's all fake news. It's all a conspiracy theory. Well, what am I supposed to believe? The whole country is lost because of Trump. He's so confused himself that he throws out these words, generic words like fake news and conspiracy theories, as some way of defending himself. It's mindless, and we are a consequence of that mindlessness. Our country has evolved into this mindless dribble coming out of a man who loves to see himself in front of the cameras. Donald Trump. A man who's in love with himself. Don't trust China? Okay, let's find out what's going on here. Somebody interviewed this guy on the street, and he just made a very generic statement. We know we've got problems with China right now, and the recent attempt to control Hong Kong against the treaty that they signed. So this guy said this.
Don't trust China. China is asshole. Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole. Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you. Well, the people of China certainly are not that way. If the leaders of China continue to exploit their people without any check or balance, and Trump refuses to mention a thing about human rights, you see Donald Trump is part of the New World Order. I, as President of the United States, will stand up against human rights violations against the Uyghur people, Falun Gong people, everybody in China who's had their organs harvested and then killed needs some sort of some recompense, if you will. We're not getting that from China, and Trump has been significantly out to lunch on that issue. So yeah, that was his opinion, by the way. Yeah, so colorful fireworks are happening. We're in the middle of the 4th of July celebration. Here's a clip of what happened earlier. One, two, three. There's the buck moon. You know what's really weird? I just realized this. We've got a buck moon, and Sarah got within 8 feet of our backyard buck deer that we have. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, Sarah was coming out from she was doing a little weeding out in our garden, and she came back, and the buck deer was standing right there, 8 feet away. And he's got like antlers, I'd say about this big right now. And it's kind of our buck deer. And here's a buck moon. They call it a buck moon because it looks like a deer antler on the top. You see that? You want me to paint you a picture? Yeah, it's just amazing that she ran into a buck today. And he lives in the back area near our house because he's had a lame foot. He has kind of a bad ligament. So he can't really run, our buck deer. But he hangs out because we got such a lush forest that, we got a lot of food for him. But you can see that, it's kind of like deer antlers right there. See? The buck, yeah, the buck is right there. The buck stops here. And the deer looks, you can see his face right there too. You see the snout? Little eyes. Anyway, she saw a buck deer today, and I was like, very cool. Happy 4th. This is Washington, D.C., and what they're doing is showing how things blow up. So we all stand around and wear face masks and pretend like this is the right thing, which is absurd. This doesn't stop a virus. There's all kinds of leaks in the pores of these things. We're supposed to wear these things and call ourselves free. Oh yeah, I'm really free. Oh yeah, and I guess if you're really going to be careful, you got to get the glasses on too. Hi, I'm Free Dave. I'm here to be so thankful for my freedom to walk around, and the only way I can buy food is if I have a face mask on, which makes me breathe my own carbon dioxide. Yeah, it's really nice, and this way I could lose brain cells as I walk around with reduced oxygenation. They say inside the mask is like 17.5% oxygenation. Your body needs 19.5%. So basically they're dumbing us down by forcing us to wear air masks while we pretend to be free, blowing things up. I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm not going to have any fireworks celebrations 4th of July in DC. I'm not going to prevent you guys from doing it because I know it's a big tradition around the country and a lot of people like to blow off M80s in my ear in my neighborhood. So, yeah, I was outside today and all of a sudden I'm like, gee, it's so nice. The birds, the deer, so lovely. And then boom, 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 boom. At least 20 M80s were blown off in a sequence. It used to be we'd get 1 or 2 M80s. Now we get 20. Just unbelievable. Eric, we try to avoid using the N-word here. So, yeah, you're only triggering more people in anger and hostility by doing that. Now, if you want to call me a cracker in the room, I don't like that either. You can support your views. Yeah, I don't want to take that away from you. If you don't like black people for some reason, feel free to speak about it. But calling them a name is not going to make things better. And similarly, for black people to call me a honky, a cracker, Wonder Bread, I don't like that either. So just so you know, I really don't. I was upset when Richard Pryor used to make fun of white people. They talk like this. Excuse me, but you better watch it, Buster, or I'm going to beat you up. I thought Richard Pryor was a sellout. In fact, I found out he was a sellout later on. Turns out Richard Pryor was a sex slave to the Jewish elite in the entertainment industry. People don't even know that. Richard Pryor wrote a book about his relationship with a transgender toward the end of his life. I mean, he had a very weird background. The only reason why Richard Pryor even got in front of you in the stage wasn't because he was talented. It's because he did things for Jewish men. You probably didn't know that. So here's a guy making fun of white people. I thought that was really rude, but he is protected by free speech, and you can do that. You can go on stage and make fun of anybody you want. That's why I don't support hate crime legislation. I actually support Richard Pryor's right to speak out. Anything he said was fine. It bothered me. It truly did. I'm not going to kid you. I'm not going to say it didn't bother me. Yeah, Richard Pryor was gay. Read his book. He had a 6-week relationship with a transgender toward the end of his life. I think it was after he set fire to himself from crack cocaine. But his early years, many people don't realize he was a sex slave to the Jewish elite and entertainment industry of moguls. Yeah. Shocking, isn't it? Yeah, many people don't know that stuff. A lot of things about Hollywood you don't know. Well, this has been great. Thank you for the opportunity to show you things blowing up in the sky above DC, but it's sending a message that really would kind of be obnoxious. Yeah. I want to do something different. So in 2021, when I'm president, I will put together a light show, a laser light show. Thank you, Zenatril, for telling me. So you got some things you want to talk about? Okay, you don't like black people because they think they're entitled to everything? They think they're superior among other races? That's exactly what they say about white people. Wow. That's interesting. There's something about racism that's it can go both ways. Some people say that, psychologists say that we oftentimes dislike qualities in other people that we ourselves dislike in ourselves. So maybe you're a white guy and you feel like you're, you feel like you're entitled to everything, so you think black people are entitled to everything. No, I'm just kidding. I think we're going to have racism forever. We can't legislate it out of existence because we have to support our First Amendment rights. We can't ignore those things. Biden, a guy like Biden, is going to push for hate speech laws, and will be ignoring his dementia as he tries to do that.
What do I do? I can't.
I know, Zenatril, you're a woman. I know that, but I was referring to anybody referring to somebody else as, entitled. It can go both ways. I know you're a woman. I have a huge forehead too. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, I mean, my forehead is about the same size as his. In fact, I know it seems a little bit odd, but I know it's hard to imagine me being like Biden, but as you can see, I look like him. What do you mean I said that? I didn't say that. You're saying I said something? I didn't say it. No, I want my pudding. How can you have any meat if you don't eat your pudding? Anyway. Nobody really wants Biden as our president, but he's like the lesser of the two evils. But is he really? When he wants to force vaccinate the entire population, and at least Donald said that he feels the same way about COVID testing as he does about vaccinations, which means that Trump wants to force vaccinate you too. Gee, both candidates want to force vaccinate you, and I'm the only one who says I will not force vaccinate anyone or force COVID test anyone, or charge you with a crime for sitting on a park bench in Vermont. Instead, we'll arrest the governor of Vermont for instigating such illegal, unconstitutional laws. That's what I would have done. By now, in American history, had I been president, you would have had 3 governors under arrest and 2 mayors. I'm just telling you what I would have done up to this point. And we wouldn't have lawlessness in Portland right now, or Atlanta, or anywhere else. We've got a weak president right now who's kowtowing to the elite, and that's exactly what Biden would be. Weak, kowtowing to the elite. Both Biden and Trump are both Zionists, overt Zionists. Salty Dog had some COVID. He had a case of COVID. He lost some function in his left leg. Are you feeling a little bit better? Are you getting any feeling back in your toes? No, Zenatril, actually, COVID will, it only dies completely in 130-degree temperature. That's only under laboratory conditions, but typically our body will get up to 105 degrees safely, but barely. I mean, God forbid you get to 105 because you could lose oxygen. But our body naturally only gets to 105, so how do people get rid of the COVID from their system? Well, it's a slower process. So what I would recommend, if you have a problem where you feel like something's happening in your chest or something weird, immediately take zinc and vitamin C. Immediately. Follow up with a couple of other vitamins that are essential to your system, but they're not going to kill you, and they're very safe. Those things. But get under a hot shower. And I mean this because there have been people using dry air therapy with a hair dryer, but who has a hair dryer and wants to, it's just weird. What about just standing under a hot shower? A hot shower is 130 degrees. So you could easily put your head under the hot shower, have the water going down in and then have that steam and just kind of like do a little aromatherapy for about 5 minutes under a hot shower. And then don't do it just once a day. Do it like 4 times a day, 3 times a day. Seriously, that might help you because Inside your lungs, COVID, if it is spreading inside your lungs, COVID will be killed by hot air. Just so you know, yeah. All right, so, ooh, this is another good one. Hang on, it's getting better. Whoa, yeah. We're free to blow off fireworks, pollute the air. Oh, isn't that nice? That's special. Oh, definitely. 130 degree sustained water will burn you over a long period of time. Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it. But for a short period of time, 4 or 5 minutes, that's what your temperature, your water normally is. People don't realize that hot water is hot water. Fahrenheit. Okay. This concludes your fireworks brainwashing for the evening. Whew. Wow, that's a lot of fireworks, man. DC just blew it off, man. They wanted to throw some money at this because they knew this is our last 4th of July before our country's taken over by the New World Order. Disney's closed. Yeah, they can't open. They're not ready yet. Well, they found out that the COVID, once you flush the toilet, it circulates. So now all the Disney people are worried about toilet COVID. You know, the danger of toilet COVID is very real. Yeah, I mean, I was at the Disneyland bathrooms 2 years ago. Sarah and I went there, and it was weird. It was really freaky, actually. I think I may have gotten a cold from one of the hand sanitizers. You've probably seen those hand sanitizers that you put your hands down and they put hot, kind of tepid air on you. Yeah. Dyson makes them. Well, they don't heat the air to 135 degrees. You got to get that air up to 130 degrees to kill COVID. So they're going to have to make some modifications to those things so that they heat that air better. And I still think that they would work, but what's happening is people are passing their germs into the unit, and the germs themselves are adding to the low temperature air system that they have in there, and the thing is cross-contaminating people. The young Biden made a good speech about blacks. You know, a lot of people consider that racist. But yeah, I see your point. Yet the thing about Biden, though, is that whole idea of putting black people in jail for low-level drug offenses like cocaine created a cycle of violence and addiction, ironically. Well, people aren't getting remediated in prisons. There's no evidence that people going to jail for a drug possession charge are getting remediated. In fact, there's evidence they're getting to learn more criminal acts. It's like they get into the jail system and they learn crime from other people. So the whole idea of remediation on low-level drug offenses is absurd. I would release low-level drug offenders in our culture, and anyone with capital crimes would always be kept in prison. We'd never let them out unless they serve their time. We wouldn't be lenient either. But Donald Trump oversaw all these governors that openly released 67,000 prisoners into our society right now. So now we're forced with major problems with people becoming violent. Yeah. You're driving for a Lyft, waiting to go back to work. Is that dumb? Maybe. Not. Well, take precautions, okay? Take precautions. Seriously. Sarah's got a whole routine worked out so that if she has to go back to work, she'll be in another building entirely. Yeah. We're going to keep that separate. We've got a separate, whole setup for her to actually completely get her clothes off for the day, and then we have to put them in a washer bin. She can't wear the same clothes again. Only one round of clothes. Then it has to go to the washer immediately. Normally she would wear her clothes maybe 2 or 3 times before the washer. Now we got to go right to the washer with clothes. It could be, public school could be over forever. You're right. It looks like this overreaction to COVID-19 by the Democrats has caused our country to almost go into a catatonic state of paralysis. We are really at a point where we're no longer able to function because of what the Democrats have done to us. Donald fought it for a while, but he didn't have the intelligence to fight it with good, strong logic. When Donald was asked, why are you taking hydroxychloroquine, he couldn't answer. It's never been taken for precaution. They've never taken hydroxychloroquine for precaution, but Trump has invested in a French company where he's going to make a lot of money from hydroxychloroquine worldwide. But you'd think he would have told the FDA director when they just banned it that you're fired. I would have. Yeah, they say that COVID-19 can cause nerve damage. You know what else causes nerve damage? 5G radiation. Yeah, that's the inherent problem with this picture here. Our government is not checking for safety regarding these things. RFID chips, they're not checked for safety. Forced vaccinations, not checked for safety. All these issues are being ignored by our government. And I'm against forced vaccinations, as you know. I'm against genetically modified food for the most part. I'm against chemtrails for sure. There's no reason why we would dump chemicals in the air to poison our earth and cause weather modification. And no RFID chips. I'm totally against it. Anything forced is all wrong. This is wrong. This is all wrong. You should be in school. There are a lot of fans of the Trailer Park Boys. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, this is what America is going to have to do. We're going to have to be working on this important thing, homesteading. Now, I've been talking about this for 12 years, and I still believe it's the key is to take our old existing houses and fix them up. Put in brand new facelifts on them with 40-year roofs. Hempsolation, which is made out of hemp, will prevent any mold. And a lot of those old buildings in Detroit will be built to last for another 50 years or 40 years. Yeah. Lots of good houses out there that we're not really using, and our sustainability is altered because we're not using these great houses. Now, Detroit's going to see a resurgence in population, I really believe. You notice there haven't been a lot of riots in Detroit? People are going to say, wow, Detroit's like a nice place to live. It's better than Minneapolis. Seriously. And you can grow up to 12 plants of marijuana in Detroit for personal use. Anything in Michigan. I bet your pots are getting really big. Your pot plants are getting big. Well, good for you. Doesn't that make you feel good that you're growing something that you can smoke and enjoy? Yeah, they found out that they're medicinal. THC, CBD, the products made from marijuana and cannabis are medicinal. So the Homestead Renewal Plan is essentially, one of the coolest ideas we have besides our solar rooftop revolution. But what we're going to offer is people fixing up houses to make them look that nice, making $15 a day, or excuse me, an hour, not a day, $15 an hour. And you'll be able to get that money. We'll pay you at the end of the day in cash. That's something that is going to be a big key factor. Yeah, cash payments. You'll have cash in hand. Or we'll make an arrangement where we'll just add on to your EBT card if you happen to have one. Now, if you don't happen to have an EBT card because you don't want to collect any free money from the government, then that's kind of ridiculous, but you can certainly opt against having free money from the government. And you don't even have to work in this program if you don't want a house. But if you want a house, you'll have to actually pitch in. So in order to apply for a house, you actually have to know what we do to fix them up. So you'll feel proud that you'll have that house. You'll feel proud that you'll have a good roof and how it's built and everything. Yeah, so Fufui, hey man. And I am the originator of the universal basic income, and neither Trump or Biden have that offer. So the $500 a month offer to any U.S. citizen over the age of 18 or over will qualify. So that's a big plus. Yeah, I think I have that in the other slide. I better go get that. People could live in caves, but there are a lot of houses right now. There's 18 million houses. I bet you need that money right now. A lot of people are running out of money right now, guess 994. Yeah, they're really hurting. It would have been great if we could have done this years ago. I've been running for president for 12 years now, so I'm getting better at talking about what we have to offer, and it won't get old for me because all these ideas are great, stellar ideas. We have them all in our book, Hybrid Capitalism. We've got all that going for us and more. And a lot of the ideas are pretty much an elaboration of our platform, which is at americasthirdparty.com. You'll see a lot of that there. I'm trying to put together that. Yeah, I think I've got too many things in that. Bring back the USA. One of the keys to sustainability is to get out of this $26 trillion debt we have. So one of my ideas is bring back the USA. Kind of a better idea, in my opinion, than a new America. Well, the idea is to bring back the United States of America as a legal entity and finance it with an infrastructure bank and get people the money they need out of that infrastructure bank. Now, I'm going to try to put together enough money initially for this program to get it started out of the executive branch. And I'm certainly going to do everything I can to make that happen. We'll also have to, build a congressional agreement on this if we want to retire the United States Corporation and bring back the United States of America. I'm more than willing to do that. My quote, "The people left alone will prosper." And I believe this totally, wholeheartedly. I truly do. If we get people to do their own thing, you see them happening all over in America. You actually see people doing well on their own without any interference from our government. And remember, our government is here to enable our pursuit of happiness and life and liberty. That's the purpose of our government. That's a big part of what I'm talking about. So doing that is essential too. There we go. And we have a plan for a flat tax on income over $50,000. So this is a big plus for America. So not only do you get $500 a month if you're a U.S. adult citizen, but you also have an incentive. Now that's anybody, mind you. You don't have to have a certain income. You can get $500 a month even if you're a stockbroker. Pay for your parking fee. Seriously. It helps our economy all the way around. 10% flat tax on over $50,000 in income is a way of actually keeping tax on a level playing field and getting rich people to actually invest in America. Because believe it or not, they're going to see this as a savings over their tax accountants and all their hedge funds. Where actually a lot of these people buy advertising that they don't need to buy in order to have tax advantages. And it turns out to be pretty wasteful. So a 10% flat tax is very liked. In fact, the editor of Forbes magazine actually said he liked it. He likes the idea of a flat tax. So a lot of people are in favor of that. Okay, so I'm going to leave here with the great ideas in this wonderful future world that we're talking about and bring you Sarah. Here she is.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Enjoy your dinner.
I will.
How are you all? Happy 4th of July. I don't know.
Make sure I resume the recording too. I think it's on.
Oh, yes. It is on. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to pause the recording. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. And, yeah, and please don't get together with family until this coronavirus is a lot less contagious. Or if you do to get together with family, please be careful. Stay safe. You need to be actually more vigilant with your family members than you are when you go grocery shopping.
Wow, thanks. Now you can see my Adam's apple, right? Right there. You can't. You can definitely see Michelle's Adam's apple too. Michelle could very well be the VP. Joe Biden is looking for an African American person who could fit the role of VP, and I think Michelle has just as much experience as anyone else. Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris. I think Michelle needs to step up and get back into politics. You know, we will reveal the fact that she's a transgender, though, and it will pretty much destroy the Biden presidency. Because people will say, wait a second, you're meaning to say that I've been voting for a Democrat and a transgender for 8 years with Obama? That's fraud. You can't do that. Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. And the elites are so funny at the way they put things out that they want to laugh at you. So they're going to make Michelle the vice president, in my opinion. I do believe that. So I will be doing an impersonation of Michelle in blackface, like I promised, if she's chosen. So maybe that's an incentive for them to do it. Yeah, Dave, we want to see your blackface impersonation in drag. Bring it. I did blackface because Americans are completely censored. Our country doesn't have any rights. None of us get our word mentioned. You might think you're tweeting, but you're probably just shadow banned like me. Yeah, so as a former businessman, I felt that business was being destroyed by corporatists like this guy. And I even, at one point being a Democrat, I sided with people who were against the corporatocracy. And if that's what Antifa was about, that'd be great. Except that's not what Antifa is about. Antifa is about destroying the culture we live in, destroying our law and order, about creating a revolution of the types the Bolsheviks did during Russia's time. And people like George Soros are ready to fund this. And Donald Trump will not out him. He's a good friend of Donald Trump, so he's doing his bidding. I don't. Let me go to TraderJoe's.com and find out. It's a brand new product, so hopefully it will be 0 recipes. Yeah, it's called Facial Mist. It's probably under that heading. It's probably under the Facial Mist. Facial Most? No, that won't work. Zero items found. Oh, wait a second. There's 0 items found, but Wondrous Watermelon is sitting right there. Look at that. Well, there you have it. Okie dokie. There you go, Trevor Corey. It's the watermelon mist that I'm showing you here. I haven't tried it yet, but we got it for $3.99, and it's supposed to make you feel really refreshed in the summer. Some of you are in the Sudan right now, wondering if you'll ever have anything to drink, and I'm talking about facial mist. I'm so sorry. But at least you've got television. You can watch my show in the Sudan. I see that you... Yes, Anagaga is watching from Darfur. Hello, Anagaga. Hello, nice to see you. Well, this is one of the products that is available in American stores, Anagaga. How do you know my name, she's saying. Well, I guessed. You're welcome, Trevor. Anyone else want the facial mist? It's the newest thing. You know when a new product at Trader Joe's is the biggest thing going, that you reach rock bottom. Yeah, this is the lowest we can get. Where the only fun we have is buying a Costco chicken once a week. It used to be we could go to restaurants, enjoy ourselves, hang out, have fun. Now we can only just go in and get our Costco chicken and leave. Try not to get COVID-19. So I walk in and bring my mask on, because you have to have a mask or you can't eat in America. That's how free we are. And you notice how I can't see my eyes, they're like hidden. I put on my face mask, so you can't even see what I look like. But I can see out of this small slit right here. Yes, I thank you for the COVID-19, for the chicken. I'm not going anywhere near a restaurant. I think you guys are risking it out there right now. We just don't know how safe we are, especially since the masks don't work, and we found out that, actually it's a good thing. Last week, Fauci said that, and this is really kind of nice to know, this actually, the World Health Organization, not Fauci, but the World Health Organization has ruled that people that are asymptomatic are not spreading the disease. Isn't that great? Yep. They still can't explain why the CDC is, put COVID positive people with the most vulnerable nursing home patients, except to get the numbers up. That's what it looks like. You've been eating at a restaurant every day? Oh, I'm so glad for you. Well, you'll get your herd immunity up too. But I decided to cut back on my buffet eating just to save the potential for risk. It's really touching things that you have to worry about, like touching surfaces that other people touch. No one touches my shirt, not even, well, Sarah touched it earlier today. Yes. You're wondering why I'm still wearing the same shirt I wore last week? Because I love this shirt. It's kind of boxy on me, and it doesn't make me look good, but I like it. It's polyester, simple. You almost told this lady to wear her mask correctly at Walmart. She wasn't covering her nose and didn't want an argument. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, don't bother. It's not worth the conflict. She might have a 9mm and pull it out on you. It's like, what do you mean? I'm not wearing my mask right. You never know. Those two people were very upset. They were accosted by black people in the parking lot. Those two white people. They're both potentially going to get 4 years in jail each for simply standing their ground and saying, "You're not going to get my car. You're not going to carjack me." Those two women looked like they were trying to carjack that couple. I'm back. Hi. So I got to remove this horrible image of George Soros behind me, which is disgusting. I've had it on the show for a long time because I absolutely can't stand looking at it anymore. Yeah, focus on yourself. And I got to tell you, our president should have said that none of these masks should be mandatory. There's no way they can violate your constitutional rights. They should have said that. They should have told me. They should have said something. Now, I could put all kinds of things that I think are good for you on the screen, but if I did, I'd be violating YouTube standards. Yeah, the mask is irrelevant. But here we are talking about COVID-19 when the same exact set of symptoms can occur if you get too much radiation. Like these people who just measured the 5G network in London, and look what they found out on their EMF meter. Electromagnetic frequencies are dangerous. Watch this.
When you see pulmonary edema, Some doctors in New York have already said it's like they've been thrown out of an aircraft, like altitude sickness. So folks, this is what this electromagnetic radiation is going to do to you. It's going to have all the same symptoms of what you're being told this virus has.
Well, the radiation here, I've got 4,000, 6,000 millivolts, 4,000. Maximum exposure human to is 2. The problem is when I turn it like that, you're not going to see it. You'll have to, there, it's 5,000 there. See that?
So I'll put it on. It's supposed to be only 2. What's it supposed to be in London to make it safe?
200.
200.
And my 3,000 there. 3,000.
Look at this.
4,000.
4,000.
So you're bouncing around significantly.
It's a cumulative, folks. It's going to make you really sick. They're putting it in around all the schools. When everyone's been off, it's been laid everywhere. Fiber optics, antennas. They're putting it all up, all the LED lights. They're going to open this unlawful lockdown. They're going to let all the kids go back to school. They're going to get bathed in it. And then you're going to see the second peak. Tell us, Mark, what are they opening all around London, these mortuaries?
They're opening mortuaries all over the country. We've got a XL, the XL, there's 30,000 better. Obviously, those mortuaries are here for a reason. They're going to kill an awful lot of people.
Wow. So they're opening up more mortuaries in England. It's like they're getting ready for mass killings across the globe. All over the world, people are wondering what the hell is going on and why can't we get any accountability from these scumbags? Because our government stopped listening to us a long time ago. Democracy was anesthetized and put to bed. We need a burst of new energy, and that's one of the reasons why I created Cool Rock. Yeah, we are the energy. That's right. We are building a new platform for Cool Rock, and hopefully we'll be having an SSL secure server to back it up. So I know a lot of you have been trying to get into our show, and as we get closer to the election, I'm going to try to get Cool Rock onto an SSL server. It may not be the same kind of site, but it's still going to be up and running. We are long-term looking to defeat the Republicans and Democrats in every election, and I believe I've got the secret combination, uniting the country under our banner of Bill of Rights. Right. Our Bill of Rights is synopsized by my idea of a human rights amendment. If we look at what we really need to do is we need to get our country back on track. So restoring the Bill of Rights as a primary focus for America is really my thrust here, because we are under attack. This government planned anarchy is designed to get rid of our Bill of Rights. Truly, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to make it so bad in various cities, they're just going to declare probably martial law by November. I wouldn't doubt that's up their sleeve. Happy 4th, man. Well, welcome to you too. And what our country stands for is what 4th of July represents, is our Bill of Rights, not some statues. Donald Trump didn't mention our Bill of Rights once today in his speech. He just talked about statues. Yes, I was the one that came up 2 years ago with the idea in Charlottesville that we should pass an executive order outlawing anyone defacing an edifice or a statue. Trump took 2 years to do that. You can imagine where I'd be right now if I had been president in 2016 and how far I would have gotten to help our country build up our country's manufacturing. I would never have shut down the economy. I never would have listened to Dr. Fauci or Dr. Birx. One good look at them shows me they are totally incompetent. Well, we're not sure. There's been a lot of attacks against people who are supporting our show, so his IP may have been banned tonight, Meta-Nemesis. Mark freely bans IPs whenever he feels like it. Iron Man is on now. 3, really? That looks good. Well, in my cabinet, I would have people who are fiscal conservatives. People that support, even Tea Party people would be good, as long as they're not Rand Paul per se. I believe Ted Cruz would be in my cabinet. I'm fairly sure his constitutional knowledge is extremely important to what we're doing. I would probably make Ted Cruz one of my closer advisors. Not that I like Ted Cruz, or I don't even know him. It's just that I believe that we need that element, that Tea Party element. You didn't drive through anybody in Charlottesville, man. You're lying. Charlottesville, a woman died, and a guy went to jail for the rest of his life. And that could have been the plan to call Trump to action to create an executive order outlawing any destruction of a statue. 2 years later, here we are, and he's bragging about it in his big, presidential decree. Yeah, I love the idea of uniting in the center, too. So fiscal conservatives are very important to me. I'm a liberal from way back, and I'm more than willing to recognize our right to bear arms and our right to free speech. When the Democrats decided they wanted to get rid of guns and wanted to create hate speech laws, I said, I'm out of here. When they ignored the problems of the environment and all the dangers of pesticides and herbicides and fluoride in our water, the Democrats won't say a word about that. When they ignored the existence of a new world order, I thought, wow, they're really out to lunch. And now we hear some of these Democrats like Mayor Lightfoot act like the new world order is a good thing. And that's what's really weird. Yeah, we've got a takeover plan underway by a new world order led by people like Soros and Bill Gates. Yeah, they don't care about your human rights. They don't want you to resist anyone forcing you to do anything. They want to force you to get vaccinated. Okay. Maybe we should record this and send it to the FBI because you're admitting crimes here. Yeah. Go ahead and speak out in the chat room and I'll just copy your chat and use it against you in court, okay? Let this be for the record. I'm recording all of the crimes this person is admitting to in iVlog right now. 541. I'll record it once you're done. Yeah, just go ahead and speak whatever you want. Admit all your crimes and I'll just add them to the list of things we're going to use against you. All right, so Ted Cruz and his personal life with his wife, for Donald Trump to call her a prostitute was so low I can't even describe it. I mean, my God, who in the world would think of such a thing? And then nobody called Melania out as having posed naked in magazines. But he calls Ted Cruz's wife a prostitute. I mean, how sick. Oh no, go ahead and admit all your crimes. Pretend like this is a confessional, even though it's not. And I'll use all of these admissions against you in a court of law. The 60s show called The Invaders, that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, Trump kind of had a tongue twister today. He didn't know what to do. He went back to the White House and he kind of got wrapped up in his words. Let's take a look.
And jungles of Vietnam, they delivered a swift and sweeping, that sweeping. It was swift and it was sweeping like nobody's ever seen anything happen. A victory in Operation Desert Storm. A lot of you were involved in that. A lot of you were involved. That was a quick one. They delivered a swift and sweeping, that sweeping. It was swift and it was sweeping like nobody's ever seen anything happen.
Is that not the Swift Swiffer?
A victory in Operation Desert Storm. Wow. A lot of you were involved in that.
Welcome to 24/7 Eyes. This is our HQ where we have all the monitors to be able to check what's going on every single cable news channel across America. We always need you to get in.
Oh, come on. Is this a subscription here for Tony? Thank you, Tony. Well, I appreciate you getting that Swift thing out of there, but Desert Storm was not in Vietnam. So, well, let's be clear. Donald has to work on his geography. You won't have to have a statue 30 feet high in Russia. Laser beams will just completely disintegrate it. Don't worry. Yeah, we won't have to worry about that. You didn't know we installed laser Star Wars defense? Where were you when Ronald Reagan told us about that? Well, we have a Star Wars defense idea that could very well help our nation defend against the Soviet Union's ability to take out targets will be intercepted by a Star Wars defense system. You don't believe us? Yeah. Your stinking statue of Trump will be disintegrated. Do you understand me? Don't pless around. You are speaking Russian. I see that. Yeah, you're not allowed to be a homosexual in any way in Russia. Not of age. No, you're not allowed to be gay in Russia at all. I'm not gay, but you guys obviously are. Yeah, you're violating laws just doing that right now. Are you having carnal sex with your butt buddy? You can admit that here too. Consider this your confessional. We won't use that against you though. But yeah, you are going to be charged, and you could go to the gulags. They still have them, you know, up in Siberia. You can go to the gulags, like Maria Butina and her mother. We pulled Maria Butina out of Russia, sent to America to invest $30 million in American President Trump. Very simple. And they also want to control you. The New World Order not only owns Vladimir Putin, but they own this guy too. You didn't think he got to the point where he took another guy's operating system, sold it to IBM to quickly make $90 million, and then made billions after that because he's not going to do their bidding? You're looking at a man who will do the bidding of the devil if necessary. And they even laugh about that. They smirk. Yeah, it was sad. We saw that the other night. Boy, the sound of freedom, you know, you sure get a steady dose of all these heavy firecrackers people.
Either the sound of freedom or the sound of insanity.
I think it's the sound of stupidity and ignorance myself. I've always felt that was one of the big drawbacks of our country. Hey, we definitely lost a great journalist. The legendary Hugh Downs has died at age 99, folks. 1 year shy of 100. Hugh Downs was famous for his work with Barbara Walters. 2020. Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters on 2020. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Hugh. He had a bout with leg surgery, knee surgery. He had to have both knees replaced. I mean, the man is a trooper, was a trooper. So he's on to a happier hunting ground now. Bless you, and I'm so sorry. Was it COVID-19? Let's see. He died of natural causes Wednesday night in Scottsdale, Arizona. That would be COVID-19. Yep. So he's one of the many statistics now who died of COVID-19, even though it's natural causes. Yep. So there you have it. That's exactly how they pad the statistics about COVID spreading. The Democrats